Evolution is not scientific, or The Evolutionist's Mantra by Malcolm Bowden. Hello, this is Malcolm Bowden. If you ever discuss the subject of evolution versus creation with evolutionists, there is an argument that creationists can use that can make a very big dent in their evidence. In any discussion, they are very likely to repeat what I call the evolutionist's mantra. They are likely to say that evolution is based upon hard, provable scientific facts, whereas creation is based upon the Bible and unprovable religious bigotry. Evolutionists consistently use the word science as often as they can, whereas creation is allied with either flat earthers or weird religious beliefs, bigoted Bible bashers, fundamentalists, and much else of a similar and worse nature that evolutionists love to use in order to vent their anger and frustration on anything connected with creationism. But let us examine what is really behind the word science. To most people, when the word science is uttered, it acts as a powerful trigger word that immediately conjures up a very strong image. This is usually of men in white coats who are reading a dial and recording the results with meticulous care. From many experiments, they begin to formulate a theory from the results they have obtained, eventually writing an important article in a prestigious, professional, peer-reviewed journal, and then receiving praise and rewards when others have repeated their experiment and approved their wonderful discovery. This is the image that most people have of science. However, those who know anything about how science and scientists actually work, the real picture is quite different. Rarely does the theory emerge out of experiments. Scientists usually form a theory first, and only then do they go into the laboratory to see if they can prove their theory. The allure of fame has forced more than one scientist to massage his results, as history and present-day events continue to record. Indeed, the peer review system, believed by most to be a way of filtering out articles from quack scientists, is now used to ensure that no paper is published that contradicts certain dearly held beliefs, such as evolution, relativity, the Big Bang, cold dark matter, and similar sacred cows of present-day science. The vast majority of the public are not aware of just how shaky the foundations of some scientific facts are, particularly in cosmology. This is rarely referred to in the mass media because scientists need to maintain this prestigious view of science. So here we have the high view of science, and evolutionists do not hesitate to speak about evolution as being under this same umbrella of a word. But is evolution as truly scientific as its proponents claim? The key word in true science is the factor of repeatability. Real scientists are very careful when they write up their experiments, for they know that many laboratories around the world will use their article to repeat their experiments. If they have massaged the results, they can expect to be found out eventually. This acts as a great deterrent to falsifying results. Now, it is abundantly obvious that evolution cannot possibly be repeated, and therefore should never be classed as truly scientific, as repeatable laboratory experiments are. Having said that, exactly the same applies to creation. We cannot repeat the creation event and see what happens. So creationists are in the same position. Both evolution and creation start from exactly the same point. All the proponents of the two theories can do is to interpret the evidence that they can find on this planet and in the universe. They are both unscientific in the high, repeatable sense of true science. I would therefore suggest that early in any discussion with evolutionists, it should be hammered home to them that they are no more scientific in their arguments than creationists, simply because neither theory is anything like a repeatable experiment carried out in a laboratory. I would like to summarize this approach by setting it out as a series of points that could be made to any evolutionist. 1. You claim that evolution is based on science, but that creation is founded on religious bigotry, or something similar he may have said. 2. True science relies on repeatable experiments that can be checked by other experts. 3. Evolution only occurred once and cannot be repeated. 4. It is therefore not scientific in the correct meaning of the word, and evolution should not be described in this way. 5. All that evolutionists can do is to examine the evidence he can find on this earth and in astronomy and see how much support his theory of gradual evolution over millions of years can gather. 6. Creation also only happened once, and is therefore also an unrepeatable experiment. Creationists also can only examine the evidence they can find on this earth and in astronomy and see how much support for their theory they can gather. 7. Therefore, both evolution and creation have to start from the same position. All they can do is to interpret the evidence they can find. Neither are truly scientific in the way in which this word is understood, i.e., making repeatable experiments. There is rarely disagreement about the hard facts. It is the interpretation of them that is so different. There are numerous facts that demonstrate that we have not been in existence for millions of years, and that living creatures were created and did not evolve slowly. One of the most impressive examples is the kinesin motor that exists in every cell, even the most primitive that formed the very earliest creatures in the Cambrian. These amazing bundles of proteins actually carry chemicals made in one part of the cell and walk them to their correct destination inside the cell. Another is bacteria. Once considered to be so very primitive, yet the flagellum is spun by a rotating motor complete with rotor, stator, etc. A similar rotating motor in the mitochondrials inside every cell forces together two chemicals using an eccentric motor to form ATP. These are then used to provide energy in the cell and then return to be recycled. These are just a few of the phenomenally complex designs found in the very earliest cells. How anyone can contend that they came about by a series of small steps over long periods of time defies common sense. Some creationists cannot understand why evolutionists, such as Dawkins and many others, seem to be so blind to the evidence presented. What they fail to appreciate is that they are all highly intelligent men and are well aware of the facts, but have their own hidden agenda, which is to demolish creation using every trick of the advocate's trade, as Dawkins has himself admitted. This involves ridicule, avoidance of debate, denigration by association, and every other trick they can think of. I personally never write to them or to such impenetrable barriers as the BBC or other TV programs or the mass media. The basic truth is that evolutionists must hold to their theory, however shaky it really is, because evolution is the only theory that they can hold to that allows them to get rid of God, who they know will make moral demands upon them. They little realize that one day they will have to stand before this same God and render their account of their lives. I personally feel sorry for them. I hope you found that interesting. Thank you for listening.